Hi YouTube, XtremeTrainz here, and in this next Thomas Wood review, we'll be looking at the engine you can see right in front of you, and that is Thomas Wood Spencer. And he's one of the ones I've been really interested to look at. I know some people asked me to look at him, so we're going to look at him next. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. Is the same on the outside, so I don't need to spend a lot of time looking at that, but I do want to show you again the little bios that they come with. Again, I think this first half is really good, but the problem is that, you know, this stuff is fine. I just think the problem is that they keep being like, oh yes, these mean characters, but you know, they're nice on the inside, and they just use the same adjectives, you know, like, oh, kind, sensitive, and caring. All of them say that, and I just think that it makes them quite generic in the end, which I think is a bit silly. And always wants the best for his friends. Yeah, apparently they all want that, which is just, like, probably not true most of the time. So, I think I understand why they're doing this. They're trying to make all the engines seem, like, friendly, Thomas and his friends, love, 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 happy days. But I just don't think it's necessary, and it's also not realistic. Like, people will watch the show and realize that's not the case. I don't see why the toys need to be inaccurate to the show. I don't know. In fairness, I've seen some crazy people write stuff on reviews of Diesel 10 on Toys R Us and say that he should be not made as a toy because he's too mean. So, you know, I guess there are some people out there who need to readjust themselves. But for the most part, I think these are a little bit unnecessary and just not true to the show. But hey, let me know your thoughts on this one. Alright, let's get to the toy. Alright, Spencer is here and out of the packaging. So let's do the quick look at the engine. I'll spin him around so we get a good look at what's going on here before I talk about it. Okay, classic writing underneath. We'll knock that out of the park straight away. He's got grey wheels, and they're definitely kind of like a grey. They're not silver, they're not shiny silver, they're just grey, so take that as you will. On the sides though, however, you do have really nice silver paint actually. As you can see on the camera, it's reflective, and that is how it looks in real life. It's like a foil, you know, like it's like aluminium foil, that kind of shininess, and it's really, really nice. I think it looks really good. Obviously, it's beholden to the same problems of all Thomas Wood prints, in that, as you can see, that, for example, it goes inside the lines here, which I don't really understand, because if you look at Thomas, like Thomas's paint goes much closer to the edge than Spencer's does. So I don't know what's going on. If you see Rosie, it nearly goes all the way to the edge, so I don't really know why they had to make this so much exposed wood around the pattern, but what you actually have is nice. This is all done very nicely. You can see the words Spencer's written in there. I think it's actually like a gold paint as well, so that's nice. The stripes look fine, except again, these breaks are a little bit weird. I always think they're a bit strange. All the engines have them. Some of them are more noticeable than others. This one isn't too noticeable because it's got all the other stripes going on. This part's always awkward, and again, I don't understand why, because if you look at, for example, Gordon, look how closely Gordon is printed to his cab. Like, that would have looked very good on Spencer, because you wouldn't have had this weird space here, you could have fit another stripe in, and also it would make sense from the black part, which is meant to kind of come forward from his roof, but now it just looks very silly. So, why do they keep doing this? I don't understand. And again, same thing here, where we've got the black is smaller than the roof, even though, for example, Thomas, it goes all the way to the front and the back, but it doesn't. It's completely bordered on this side, so I don't know what's going on. But that's probably the least of our worries, because let's just have a look at that face. Like, what? Firstly, the slope is like quite funky looking. It's just very angled. Like, I think a lot of the toys, this reminds me of the Hornby one actually, a lot of the toys, and I know they're semi-realistic to how it looked, are very slopey. Whereas in actual fact, he has like a sloped face, but it's not that sloped. I think it's more like, you know, just a little bit, and then it's kind of at the top, his face is a bit sloped. So I think the actual front part of him looks kind of weird. It looks even weirder when you come around and see that again, the actual, in the show, Spencer doesn't have this big black part around his face, because his face is the same size as his boiler, and that's what you can see here. He's got a little bit of slope, and his face is the same size as his boiler. The problem is with this Thomas Wood model is that's not the case. The face is smaller than the rest of it, so you get this huge black border, which I think just looks ridiculous. and makes very little sense. And then lastly, I just don't think this is a great Spencer face, to be honest. Like, I can see it as Spencer, but I really don't. I don't rate I don't think any of the merchandising ranges, except maybe the Bachman Spencer. Actually, I like the face. They all are a bit weird. This one is definitely a weird one. So not a good combination on the front there with this huge thing going on, weird face, and yeah, no. And obviously the classic Thomas Wood of, you know, you've got the black painted buffers, but nothing else. Because again, the thing is, if you look at the way it is on here, I think that face is better, but I just think they've done a better job of doing the face. Like, the face just looks like it is less sticky, weirdly sticky outy on this one. It looks more natural, whereas this one, it still kind of looks like the face has been done like this, flat, and then stuck on an angle, versus the face actually being made on an angle. I don't know. Again, the one on here, like, looks nicer, and it annoys me because why is the toy not like that? Angry. So that's Spencer as an engine. Spencer's tender is obviously just a classic Thomas Wood tender, which is a block, which is printed on 3 sides. Woo, Spencer's tender. Same colored wheels. Again, it's got the nice shiny paint, which is good. I think, again, Spencer has a very blocky square tender anyway, so I don't think it doesn't look too stupid that it's square and blocky, because his tender is square and blocky. Again, I just think this kind of detail's a bit dumb. Like, they're cool, you want to put those details in, but then, you know, it just looks a bit silly. I would have rather you didn't put that paint there. Just, like, have it be flat, or paint all the way up to the top, and then put some paint in here instead. Or we could have both, but that would be probably too nice. So yes, that's how that looks. I think together they look alright. And again, I think as a Thomas Wood model, I think face aside, he actually looks quite nice. He is, you know, pretty excitingly painted considering how little paint we get on Thomas Wood models. And I think, for example, he actually looks quite good next to Gordon, because they've done a good job of, with these bigger engines, even though they aren't physically bigger, of using a lot of wood, and I think that's probably what they've tried to do here. They don't want to make him too thin, so he didn't look too small. He does look quite nice and big, so, you know, Gordon and Spencer, who are, you know, meant to be similar sized, do look like big and bulky, and for example, I think they look quite a bit bigger and bulkier than James does, even though James is the same length as those ones. So I think they've done a decent job with that. It's just disappointing that it's come at the expense of such a wacky looking face, which is a shame. Again, just for another quick comparison, here he is next to Thomas. Again, I think these size comparisons are a little bit problematic. Thomas is definitely too big, but anyway. Welcome to Thomas Wood, everyone, yay. So yeah, that's about all I've got to say for Spencer. Again, we'll just note that Spencer's usually pulling his cars, or 1 or sometimes 2, for the Duke and Duchess of Boxford, but we haven't actually had them produced yet. So, and it probably won't, to be honest, because it seems that Mattel has no intention to make rolling stock for any of its lines, pretty much. So, yeah, let me know about your thoughts on that, because I think he would probably look quite nice with a coach or 2, even if they are the new weird Thomas Wood ones. Alright guys, that's what I'm going to talk about in this review. Overall, I think Spencer's alright if you like Spencer. I think he's in line with most of the merchandise they made of him, which has had a weird face. I just think this one is particularly weird, particularly given, obviously, the constraints of Thomas Wood. Alrighty guys, that's all I've got time for. Thanks for watching. Do those cool things on YouTube. Bye for now. Ooh. I didn't end that correctly. I'm supposed to say, this is XtremeTrainz. Wild. Keep it fresh.